Hi, this is Gary Jordan for Natural Law for North America. And I'm really kind of hesitant to put it in this, but it may end up pertaining to it somewhere down the line. Um, one of the this particular topic was originally going to be on cycles. Uh, as I mentioned in my other videos on natural law societies, how we can structure, and relearn what apparently our ancestors knew a long, long time ago. Um, is that they were often in tune with cycles. They knew cycles within cycles, and they were very cyclical time, and that's one of the definitions for a matriarchal society, one based on balance and nurturing and following natural law, which is a more recent definition, and is not a polar opposite of patriarchy. It's a whole different set of mindsets, not just women were in charge versus men. And one of the things that I find interesting is the yugas and the cycles and the historical anthropology, um, because many cultures believe that we're not alone in the universe. We modern Americans, that's why I'm kind of have the light and dark, because it's kind of like a good campfire story without the campfire, is that we have relationships outside of our planet, outside of our solar system. In fact, many Native American tribes called them the Star Nation. Um, and this understanding is all around the world. And the reason I'm bringing this part of it up was that on a thread and in a group I belong to, we kind of got discussing the negative aliens, what appear to be parasitic aliens that we are dealing with, and maybe been only dealing with for a few thousand years, but the way our so-called rulers are behaving, how they've structured these systems to be parasitic, does make you wonder, because like all parasites, they will destroy their host, and that appears to be what's happening. Is they're destroying the host, and it's not going to be pretty when they do happen. Um, but I wanted to discuss the cycles of time, and they go by many names. Precession of the equinoxes, and it's a 24, 26,000 year cycle, depending upon who you talk to. The yugas apparently were originally thought of before the classic era, before things were written down. It was all oral tradition down in India, like so many cultures. Um, was apparently the great year of Plato, which is 24, 26,000 years. And the modern astronomers, in fact, are even considering the possibility of a binary star system. So the yugas, these dark ages and golden ages, these repeating cycles of like almost like a very 24, 26,000 year old long day and night cycle, or winter and summer. And apparently all went fairly well for most up until about 12,000 years ago. And there is good evidence that we had a cataclysm. In this book, I read that I inhaled this thing a number of years ago. Hope I got the right side. Well, it might help if I do it right side up. Anyway, I read this a few years ago, and it's huge. It's got graphs, charts, tables, all sorts of. You can find it. It's great. It deals with geology, anthropology, mythology, and it shows that there was, in paleontology, it shows there was a good evidence for a near fatal Earth cataclysm about 12,000 years ago, which is about the time that Plato's Atlantis was supposed to have drowned. In that time, we were supposed to be close to the apex of the last golden age. That being the case, or toward the end of the last golden age, I'm sorry. And that being the case, even though we were at a very advanced consciousness, we were connected to the Creator. We were harmed and damaged. And apparently, we start seeing in the Middle East grain agriculture. We start seeing what for them is cities, huge cities, start developing where we saw no evidence. We've seen no evidence of cities. We've seen few pyramids, some quite old, some monumental structures that apparently were created about that time to commemorate. Beki Tepe is apparently a commemorative religious birthing ceremonial, according to an article by Barbara Han-Clow and her understanding of it. In fact, she has a book out called Catastrophobia because she thinks we were psychologically as a species harmed. And we're just now starting to come into what they call Dwapara Yuga, in using the Vedic Yuga system for the names, which is the Bronze Age, the Age of Heroes, the Emotional Age. We just got out of Kali Yuga, the Dark Age, Iron Age, and we're now ascending towards Treta Yuga, the Silver Age, and then the apex of the cycle would be the Golden Age, or Satya Yuga. Then we go back down again, silver, bronze, iron, and back up again. And from what I remember, all the years I've read anthropology and stuff, I've sort of been an amateur at that. I've always been fascinated by what we call prehistory. There have been very little evidence, there have been no evidence for that matter, of warfare, violence. In fact, hunting, fishing, apparently quite a bit of longevity seems to be attributable to even during the periods which would be equivalent to the previous dark age before the one we just got out of. And so I'm wondering if that cataclysm allows something to happen. Now, there are many legends around the world about aliens. Some call them gods, but some just flat out say aliens. The Maya, the Cherokee, I believe there's a tribe in the Andes. I don't know which one because I saw a reference to it on a video by talking about the journeys of the Mayan Grand Elder Don Alejandro, and I can't remember the rest of his name. And they say that the Pleiades taught them. The Pleiades have come to them and been with them, either physically or shamanically. And you can travel through space and time in a visionary fashion. Now, I don't honestly think you can affect time quite the way our science fiction writers would have us believe, with the time machines and all that. But we can certainly journey and see and perceive and take actions that might affect it because of our knowings. Our consciousness, our understanding does affect reality, but I don't think we can go back in time and manipulate it quite the way some think we can. I may be wrong, but that's how I'm going to take it at this point. And they all mention of aliens. Sirius is also named besides the Pleiades in many cultures around the world, and so is Orion. These were star systems that were thought to have alien life form, and are even mentioned in some of the earliest texts we have that were starting to be writing things down during the last Silver and Bronze Age. So I'm wondering the descending one before we had the Black Age, which is about 500, I believe 500 BC, and ended 1780, according to one scholar, or Vedic scholar 3. I can't even think of his name. Anyway, I probably should find it and post it down there on the link, which I don't do. But something happened that was different this time around. And it's very well possible we are dealing with parasitic aliens that took advantage of our traumatized state after the cataclysm. And if such aliens are still manipulating our leaders, manipulating our government, feeding off of our emotions, our negative feelings, our hurts, our suffering, like a vampire or a Chupacabra, we have a problem. We have, for those of us advocating natural law, we now would not only have to deal with human interaction between humans and the animals and the plants and the rock peoples and the elementals of our planet. But we would also have to deal with these other life forms. Now, I suspect most of them are benign and not troublesome to us. They might even help us, as so many indigenous cultures, even the ancient Greeks, believed that they were taught by the gods, that they were given the knowledge of fire and weaving and things like that. And the reason I'm inclined to think that there was some massive physical changes in our universe is that there was a Greek legend that I remember reading in high school that spoke of winter has never have happened before a certain time. Now, how would the ancient Greeks even know to think if there's no winter, that there's a perpetual springish summer-like condition? If we've had these cycles of winter, summer for billions of years on this planet. Maybe we didn't. And the book I showed you, it mentions in the anthropology section that there are legends and other cultures that speak of perpetual springtime. Summer in places where we now only see winter. Perpetual summer in places that are winter. Snow that never had. So maybe there was something. And it was that catastrophic that we were psychologically and spiritually damaged. Our faith and trust in the earth. Now these guys, T.S. Allen and J.B. Dallaire, think that it was a likely the Vela supernova fragment from the Vela supernova, which apparently seems to time out about right. And there's a couple other candidates, but that's their favorite. And I think it would have to take something like that for the electrical interaction, because the descriptions of the ancients of fires in the sky, of the lights we've never seen, would be an electrical interaction between the planets. Mars may have been completely destroyed. There's all sorts of weird stuff. But the point is these aliens. Some call them the Anunnaki. In the Bible, they're referred to as Nephilim. Sons of the God. Sons of God. Like Earth people are. But they were doing a political thing. They were trying to, the Old Testament of the Bible was clearly trying to bring on patriarchy and convince us to go against the matriarchal culture that have been in place for eons before the cataclysm. And I think patriarchy, warfare, kingship, money, these were all stemmed from the parasites, whatever name you want to give them. And there's a writing of history to make it sound like these these negative aliens were the ones that created us, as was in the Sumerian text and all this other stuff. It was basically mind control. And we're talking about mind control on a number of levels. And you got to wonder about all the commercials on TV. I mean, cereal, of all things. Why would there be so many cereal commercials? Because we all need food, but maybe it's because we need to have their toxic food for them to control us. And they want us to do everything by money instead of learning to make for ourselves and gift each other as we once did. They're scared of us. And that's where my take is. I really believe that there are cycles. There is a theory by a Walter Cruttendon that believes, I'm not sure I'm saying his name right, who believes that Earth, the precession of the equinox, the yugas, the worlds that are mentioned by the Hopi, the Aztec, and the Maya, are these ages. Certainly the yugas are precessional of the equinox, and that is from a binary, according to him, is from a binary star system. The Earth's sun, Sol, is a companion star, and their favorite candidate in the binary star sun research, I believe is what they call it, institute, binary research institute, I think it is. You can Google that, maybe find it. Their favorite top candidate is Sirius B. And apparently it's also Sirius B, the ancients knew about it, the Egyptians. They were master astronomers. All the cultures, even the so-called primitive hunters and gatherers, are obsessed with astronomy. They have zodiacs. They know where all the stars are, even if you would think, according to the standard theory given in schools and in the textbooks and stuff, they don't need it. Hunter-gatherers don't need to know the astronomy because they don't need when to plant and all that stuff. But they did. They were obsessed with it. They became obsessed with the equinoxes and with the solstices. So all their ceremonies and all their celebrations and all their rituals had to do. A lot of them had to do with that. And if there was a time before seasonality, and Barbara Hancock thinks, and T.S. Allen and J.D. Dallaire seem to think, it is very possible that that was part of the trauma and part of the healing process. I really don't know what it takes us. The behavior of the creeps up at the top are clearly parasitic, whether they're alien from another planet or whether they're in league, whether they're under control of an alien species. I honestly don't know who's what's what, and that really, frankly, it doesn't matter to me. What does matter is that as human beings, we learn to follow a natural way of life that is healthy for us, for all our relations, the plants, animals, the rock peoples, the star nations, the other our children, from the positive one, because I think most of them are positive. And I could babble on, but I don't know that that will be productive. That's just my take on it. I do think we can, with meditation, through with our actions, through with our thinking, through by maintaining our health and our happiness, which affects our health. Genuine contentment and genuine happiness do affect your health. And by maintaining your health, you make it harder for the parasites to use you. Because the vaccines are poison, pure poison. Much of allopathic medicine is questionable. The only good thing they are for is surgery. It seems to be the only thing right now. Diagnostics, because they want to know what's wrong so that they can give you just enough poison to make you long-term sicker so they can leech off of you. That seems to be their goal. But they don't promote really well-being like health, exercise, activity, connecting with nature. They know these things. They know they help you. There have been studies showing that these things help. But they don't promote it because it promotes health. And it appears to be whatever these parasites' true nature is and who's who, they seem to feed off of that suffering. Like I said, they're like vampires or chupacabras. They're nasty little buggers. And we need to kick them off the planet by being well, by encouraging people not to get stoned and get high, but to, on occasion, through proper training and through proper help, to receive visionary states, learn to interpret and work with your dreams. Every earth culture I know of that follows the natural law and lives under natural law is very big on the dream time. The dream time is very important to most, if not all, these cultures, including Native America and, of course, the Aborigines from which the name dream time comes from. We're borrowing from them and grateful to them. The Aboriginal peoples of Australia. And in Africa and other places, the indigenous people of old Europe before the Catholic Church destroyed them. Destroyed the indigenous cultures. Whether the spirituality of the Catholic Church is the problem or whether, again, parasites at the top took over, and it's likely they did because they've been doing it for about 6,000 years. It appears to be as far back as you can take that, 6,000 years. That may have been the time they were able to come in, kind of like when you're physically sick. If your body is well and healthy, you can fend off almost anything. But if you're sick, if your emotions are always negative and your stress hormones are always activated, and it just gets worse. And then your environment becomes, your physical environment becomes appropriate for a parasite to make a home. Because that's basically what they're doing. They're making a home by feeding off of the life force of others. So we have to deal with these parasites, whatever their nature and whoever they are, by being healthy, by maintaining genuine happiness and contentment with life, celebrating the glory of life, learning to work with the dream time, learning to find contentment in the little simple things. We don't need the name brand cars, the name brand clothes. We don't need this and that somebody Joe down the street has. Oh, I'm so sad because I don't have that. I'm not good as them. No, you are. You really are. We all are. And this includes the physically and intellectually disabled. They need to feel helped to feel wanted, that their gifts, their talents, whatever they are, is useful, and that it's wanted by the community. They are wanted as individuals. Oh, that's one more thing that will counteract the bad guy, counteract the parasite. They don't like individuality. But if you look at every Earth culture, all the Earth peoples respected individuality, even though they were group-centered, even though they worked towards the benefit and well-being of the group, of the tribe, of the band, of the village. They were very individualist. You were an adolescent male particularly, but even the females were encouraged to do that. You were, the men, as guys, we would have had to have been gone out into the woods, fasted, done ceremony, and worked for a vision and asked the Creator to give us a vision to know what our life path is. And it's not going to be the same as our fathers or our grandfathers, but who we are, what we were supposed to be. That's very individualistic. That is not conformist. And even the women were encouraged to do that. In our society, you're supposed to do whatever the news says is popular. If computer programming is in, that's what you want to be. You want to be a computer programmer because everybody is. That's where the salary is. If everybody is a white-collar executive, you want to be one of those. But that's the other thing, nonconformity. Look to the well-being of your brothers and sisters in your relationship, but conform only to who you really, truly are. And that would, like I say, that applies to the physically and intellectually disabled, as well as those that are fortunate enough to start off in this life more or less in one piece. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other, take care of the earth, take care of your health, stay happy. Not false happy, but genuine happy. Take pleasure in just being alive, smelling the flowers, seeing the sun, watching the fog roll in or the sand fly across the desert floor. The winter time, the summertime, the little baby doing their funny things, the old folk telling their stories, the young people trying to figure out who they are, what the Creator bring them into this world for, what were the gifts they have, as well as their weaknesses, and how to do so, use those gifts for the benefit of their village, their band, their family, their tribe, their whole ecosystem. Anyway, that's how you beat the parasites, and that's very important for all of us. So you all have a wonderful Super Bowl night. Don't let the gladiatorial nonsense get to you. Anyway, have a great night, and I shall see you later. Bye for now.